True or false? The best way to break a belief about what's possible is to see someone do something that you thought was impossible. Maybe you've heard the story of Roger Bannister. In the 1950s, it was thought to be impossible to run a 4-minute mile until Roger came along and broke the record. But then, a year later, everyone and their mother were running 4-minute miles. What changed? The belief that it was possible. Believing is the secret to achieving. This applies to life and business, which is why the Yogipreneur is so powerful. Plugging into a place with like-minded people, sharing struggles and successes breaks any limiting beliefs slowing you down. The Yogipreneur is a 4-month mastermind for yoga teachers who are ready to break free from the limitations of the studio, are eager to start building a flourishing yoga business, and who want to know what it takes to create impactful and profitable offers of their own. Enrollment is now open, but only from August 11th to the 24th, 2024. During the Yogipreneur, you'll gain access to 12 of my top business trainings made by a yoga teacher for yoga teachers. We'll talk about igniting your entrepreneurial spirit, act like a boss, expanding your dharma, explore opportunities outside the studio, designing heart-centered offers, sketch out your service, facing technophobia, set up your softwares, finding your voice, share your yoga journey with confidence, healing your money blocks, flow into financial abundance, marketing mindfully, promote your practice, selling with integrity, create transformation, not transactions, serving your students, deliver and exceed expectations, managing time and energy, protect your prana, sustaining success, automate your yoga business systems, and maintaining pure intentions, fix your mindset. You'll get your hands on helpful resources like Charging Your Worth worksheet, captivating copy codes, terrific testimonials template, launch survival guide, sales page outlines, sales call guidelines, sample contracts, ChatGPT prompts to supercharge your ideas, and more. Are you intrigued yet? After the weekly live trainings, stay on to ask your burning questions and get some answers through hot seat coaching. Plus, you'll be invited into our private IG chat so you can make friends and feel supported the whole time. It's a place to share the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I'm even throwing in 10 plus hours of guided meditations and EFT tapping tracks to help rewire your beliefs and subconscious programming. This is the first ever round of the Yogipreneur Mastermind. Since it's a pilot program, the people inside will have the most contact time with me, MAKENZIE Fly, and receive all the goods at the lowest price ever. If flourishing as a yoga teacher has felt like the 4-minute mile, impossible, the Yogipreneur Mastermind is for you. Sure, you could do it alone. It's just you could get there a lot faster with help. Click the link in the show notes or visit yogipreneurmastermind.com for all the details. Register before August 24th, 2024. We start in September.
What I didn't realize as a yoga entrepreneur was that like teaching yoga was like 10% of the job. 90% of the job is all the marketing part, like, and growing in like creation part, like creation and like, things you want to build and create for your community and how to build your community and relationship building and networking and content creation and like learning the tech behind all of that with your website and your email list. Like all that has nothing to do with you going up and like teaching a Surya Namaskar A. There's nothing to do with that teaching a Surya Namaskar A. You could be a really awesome yoga teacher and nobody could know about it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back. Oh, I think I started too soon. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to MYYT, where you are learning to level up your yoga teaching one masterful class at a time. I am feeling so pumped about this weekend. On Sunday, which in real time was yesterday, I was able to lead the masterclass, How I Make Six Figures as a Yoga Teacher Without Teaching in Studio. The turnout was incredible. The people on the actual call had such great energy, and the reviews are rolling in. Listen to what people are saying about the experience. Jenna Bell said, "This masterclass was a beautiful opportunity to dive deeper into steps that prevent yogapreneurs from standing and stepping into their full potential by understanding their value, their offerings, and more. MAKENZIE is extremely easy to connect to, even though I wasn't able to turn my video on. Relatable, but valuable experience." Another person said, "What a great opportunity. In just such a short amount of time, I was able to learn so much, like how to be specific and clear with my message about what I'm offering as a teacher and how to be unapologetically loud about it. MAKENZIE is personable and fun and offers a wealth of knowledge. I'm looking forward to reading the software survival guide. All the software needed to run my own yoga teaching business can be so overwhelming. I can't wait to dive even deeper." And my favorite review from Miss Tori Lebecki. She said, "Oh my God, this class was your best work yet, MAKENZIE. Bravo." Thank you, thank you, thank you to you, especially if you were able to tune in and you came on live, or if you watched the replay. I appreciate you so much. I had so much fun sharing all of this free value and making my big, exciting announcement, which is the Yogipreneur Mastermind is now open for enrollment. So between August 11th to August 24th, 2024, I'm accepting the first round of people for a 4-month mastermind that's designed to help you break free from the limitations of the studio, learn how to create both impactful as well as profitable offers outside the studio, and start to build your business. I'm so excited for this. I've been working on it for the last month or two, pouring my heart into this program, and it's going to be incredible, and it will never again be on the market at this ridiculous rate. So please check out the link in the show notes. It's going to be amazing, and I want you to be a part of it. And honestly, this conversation with Pedro couldn't be more perfectly placed and timed, because he is such a perfect example of what it takes to really be a successful entrepreneur in the yoga business and industry. So in this episode, I had the privilege and the pleasure of being able to chat with the man behind the memes. He's like the internet's favorite meme maker. And if you've ever seen a meme about yoga on Instagram, there's a high chance, the likelihood that he made it. There's like copycats, people who are kind of trying to do what he's doing, but he is the OG creator of the hilarious yoga memes. And he's just so witty. He's funny. He's got such great energy and tons of helpful insights around what it takes to become a successful yogipreneur. Specifically inside this episode, we chat about things like the origin of the meme, like how he got started. We chat about the biggest asset that everybody has and how you can get more of it. Which is his favorite meme of all time, the universal law on creativity, how 90% of the job is actually not what you think, affiliate marketing and how to really make it feel authentic. Hands down, the one thing that you need to get your business, especially the yoga business, off the ground, his secrets to building community, pros and cons of niching down and what to do if you feel multi-passionate, and then the 2 ways you can pay for an investment. I had such a great time chatting with Pedro. I know you're going to love this episode, so turn it up and let's dive in. Hey yogis, MAKENZIE Fly here, mom, yogapreneur, teacher trainer, retreat leader, and your guide to master your yoga teaching. This podcast is your weekly dose of actionable wisdom and candid chats with industry experts. Learn to connect deeper, weave yogic magic, and lead by example. Full disclosure, I'm still mastering it too, but together we'll skyrocket your impact and income. Hit subscribe and let's grow, one episode at a time. Pedro Luna has been teaching yoga since 2012. He transitioned from a corporate job in 2014 to teaching yoga full-time and figuring it out. He has taught yoga in various parts of the world, leading retreats, workshops, and teacher trainings. Pedro's mission in life is to share the gift of yoga with the world. He loves mentoring yoga teachers and watching them grow their wings and fly. When he isn't thinking about yoga things or making memes, he enjoys spending time doing crazy challenges with his wife and their 3 children. Welcome to the podcast, Pedro. I am so psyched that you are here.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate you for just inviting me on and for being here. I know it's been a little while since we were trying to schedule it, but we are here now. And so we're recording now, which is great.
I was thinking that you were like, this girl is just so messed up with her schedule and dates because a month ago, I was like, Pedro, I'm so pumped for our interview tomorrow. Like, so excited. And you were like, girl, it's not June 27th, it's July 27th. I was like, you're right. I'm excited in a month. See you then.
Yeah, I'll see you then. I was like, I'm in Italy. I'm in Italy right now. So yeah, but we're here now. It's okay.
Yeah, we're here now. So thank you so much. I know we booked it in a couple months ago because you are a busy bee creating so many cool offers and opportunities for yoga practitioners and yoga teachers. If you don't know Pedro and his hilariousness of if you've ever seen a yoga meme on the internet, it's probably designed by this man.
Most likely. There's a good chance. I mean, there are other ones out there nowadays, but because it's a copycat game, y'all. But there's a good chance that the origin is back to the yogi memes somehow, you know.
I know it. I know it. So it's a real privilege and honor just to have you. I have laughed so many times because of your work, and I can't express my gratitude enough because for such a career that could be anything, sometimes we make yoga really serious and yoga teaching really serious. And so I appreciate you bringing back the lightness and the levity and learning how to laugh again.
Yeah, and it's just fun, you know. I started making memes it was just about 9 years ago. We started making the memes, on the Instagram. Nobody was doing it at that time. There was one page had like 10 memes on it, and I was like, I think there's an opportunity here to make memes on the internet, and like I don't know if it's going to turn into anything, but it's going to be a good time. And like I just held the vision of like what it could become, and like people have booked retreats and traveled all over the world with me because they've originally found me from a random meme like on the internet. Like my friend in Italy, she was telling me, she's like, I found you from a Kermit meme, and now I'm on a rooftop in Italy eating pasta, looking at Capri. And I was like, well, there's that. Like, so yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty
No,
crazy.
I love it. I love it. That is amazing. And I think it helps us realize that you don't realize just how somebody could find you. and
Mhm.
and I love how you said that you realized that there was like an opportunity in there and seeing like this could be cool and just trying it and go for it.
Yeah, and what is it? And it was the intention with that behind memes and like in life in general as a yoga teacher is just like let me just try something because I have genuine interest in it. Like and I think this will bring people joy, and it brings me joy, and then it goes back to my mission, which is sharing the gift of yoga with the world, right? So when I go back to the mission, it's like okay, memes make sense because like it's sharing joy and it's sharing my sense of creativity. Like it was like a creative outlet, you know, and it still is. It still is when I make them now. Um, and over time, like it just like it turned into something more. Like there's business opportunities, like something can come from this. People, it could be a top line, a funnel, you know, that takes people to other places of things that you do in real life, you know, the other yoga things that you do. And
Mhm.
but if the intention behind the action is good, and my intention was just to have a creative outlet that it gives somebody, a moment of lightness in their day as they're scrolling on their phone in their car, you know, before they go into a yoga class or whatever. What you could be doing anything, you know. If I'm holding the intention behind the action is pure, like good things will come of it, you know. And a lot of people, like millions of people, have really enjoyed them, and I've enjoyed making them. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. And then, I always think about as a yoga entrepreneur, which I'm sure we'll talk about on this show, with yoga entrepreneurship, it's like, if you're just planting a lot of good seeds in rich soil all over the place, you never know when one's going to sprout. Like you have no
Mhm.
idea. But as long as I just keep planting like good seeds with good intentions and in a lot of places, and it's given me the opportunity to build a lot of relationships with people. I mean, I'm sure it's led back to this conversation is a testament to that. This conversation is a testament to that. Um, that it's good things come when you just keep putting yourself out there and over again. And they might come in mysterious ways or ways that you didn't expect them to show up. But when they do show up, it's like, oh, I did want to do that. I just didn't think it would be like because of like X, Y, or Z that got me to here. But hey, now we're here. So this is great, So I
Yeah,
think about
yeah.
that often.
I love it. And I think that what I was trying to say is that we think that it needs to be done, or that seed needs to be so serious or so
Mhm.
professional or so X, Y, and Z. And we miss out on the opportunity of what makes the meme so genius is that it's so silly and so relatable and so human, so shareable. And
Mhm.
when it comes to being a yogipreneur and the need in this to be consistently producing, it's genius that you found something that's like fun and silly, because that's easier to do for the long run than
Yeah.
something so epic, something so big, something so, like a mountain.
Yeah.
I really just love that it's like simple and easy.
Yeah, it's simple and easy and fun. And as long as I just keep doing that, I go back to it and I'm like, oh, this sounds like a fun thing. Or somebody sent me a message. Or I was about to teach a class the other day on Zoom, and one of my students, we just went to Italy. We just got back from southern Italy, and it's like we're talking about limoncello, and she's like, let's call this class like slow flow, and I was like and limoncello at the end, and then so now we have a class called slow flow and limoncello. And so it's I haven't made a meme about it yet, but I have an alarm in my phone for it, so I'm gonna make it later. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. You know,
Spoiler.
but even that, if you think about that, like that little meme caption, there's so many ways of like getting people's attention, and you never know when someone, as a yogipreneur, as an entrepreneur, you never know what's the one thing that's going to get the attention of your student that you've already been talking to for a long time. And you've already told them about your retreat. You've already told them about your training. You've told them about your workshop coming up and your group classes. But if you have like a little way of creatively expressing it to them, it might just hit a little different. And then just like, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, he's been talking about this workshop thing. Like, what is this retreat? Like, what is this workshop? Let me click on the button, because this has got my
Right.
attention, So
Yeah.
it's attention grabbing and it's fun, but you never know what is going to be the piece of content or the piece of, or the words that you've said during a specific class that land and really hit someone like in a way that they're curious about learning deeper from you, or they're just like want to keep showing up to take class from you or whatever. Like, you just never know. But it always comes from, if you're coming from an authentic place within yourself, like, man, you're never going to lose because you're just speaking the truth all the time. You're speaking your truth all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's it. That's really important. And I think it took me a long time to understand the power of what you're talking about, because you could be making your announcement all day, but if you don't have attention before announcement, it's falling on deaf ears, or people are just passing you by. That's why it's so important to really master this sort of like hook in the mouth, in the sense of stopping people from their scroll or stopping people from whatever, so that they can grab your announcement or what you're saying, because you have their attention now. And
Yeah.
usually the thing that catches their attention is that like silly or funny, the limoncello, like
Yeah.
something that, yeah, yeah,
It's got to be attention grabbing. It's got to be creative. They're you.
yeah.
I at least I think that way. Like, unique. Attention is the number one asset. If you have
It's
the
the
attention, you have
currency.
yeah. If you have the attention, you have everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And getting the attention for like the right, in the right way, is how I always try to, live my life, and
Mm.
all the things, and all how I always show up doing everything.
Well, it's very clear. Do you feel like off the top of your head you have a favorite meme that you've ever created, or is there one
Oh
that's like been the
man.
most shared, or there's too many?
There's this Leonardo DiCaprio one that I made like 10 years ago. It's like, cheers to yoga for helping us keep our shit together this holiday season. And it's been shared millions of times over, and it's relatable every November, you know? And so I always like reshare that in November, and it always goes viral again. And so that was the first one that came to the top of my head. It was like the first meme
Wow.
I ever had in my life. I was like, man, this meme got 200 likes, and this is like in 2015. I remember when I started that account, I was like, I didn't know anything about Instagram. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely zero. I didn't even know how to make a meme. I just figured it out. But that one was funny, and that's still funny to me, at this day.
Oh, so cool. When you were making it, I guess you were saying, you didn't really know how to make a meme or the
Nah,
actual back end behind the scenes stuff. But when you had it and you were about to post, did you think that that
nah,
would be the one that would be as
no.
popular as it was? Yeah.
No, no, no. And I used to post memes like 3 a day. I would just spam memes. I would just spam them like all day. And so I would just spam them. And because it was like a hit machine in my head. And it just goes for anybody out there. Like, if you have a creative gift of, poetry, of making songs, music, beats, memes, writing, whatever it is, don't like hold this one like, oh, I'm going to wait till I get bigger and then I'm going to put this one out there because it'll be more like it'll get to more people. Listen,
Mm.
if you're good at something, the hits are not stopping tomorrow. The hits are going to keep on coming. So just put the stuff out there that you have in your that you have created. Put it out there because more hits are just going to keep on coming and then the energy is just going to keep getting bigger. So don't save it for
Mm.
another time. I'll save this one for my 4th album. Like just put it out tomorrow. Put it out. So that's my
Yeah.
opinion on creation. On creation, the more you put out, the more it'll just come back to you. The more creative energy we get to create more other awesome things.
Yes, and that creativity sparks other creativity, and it's like
Oh yeah,
it gains its momentum. Yeah, for sure. That's
yeah,
so important. And I think a lot of us, we don't realize, especially as a yogipreneur or somebody that's trying to do this yoga teaching as more of a business and make a substantial income to
yeah,
live and thrive, you
yeah.
have to kind of produce so much material that people can then discover you, that they can then like you. And even that one person needs to see multiple pieces of things before you are sliding into their awareness. That I don't think I had a realistic expectation of how much I needed to keep putting stuff out there. And what you're talking about is like I was just making and putting them out, putting them out, putting them out. And that's the part that I think a lot of people, they don't understand how many times you have to do that. Because they don't know that, then they don't do it enough. Like you just have to keep producing for a little while. You just have to create and publish.
For a long while, not even a little while, for a long while, yeah, but yeah, at least for a little while for sure, but definitely the long term of everything. What I didn't realize as a yoga entrepreneur was that like teaching yoga was like 10% of the job. 90% of the job is all the marketing part, like and growing in like creation part, like creation and like things you want to build and create for your community and how to build your community and relationship building and networking and content creation and like learning the tech behind all of that with your website and your email list. Like all that has nothing to do with you going up and like teaching a Surya Namaskar A. There's nothing to do with that teaching a Surya Namaskar A. You could be a really awesome yoga teacher and nobody could know about it. Or you could be a really lousy teacher, not that like I'm saying to be a lousy teacher, and everybody could know about you, because you could be the great at promotion and get people to come to something. They may not come again, if you don't have the skills to back up what you said you were going to do. But you could be a really great teacher, but nobody could find out about you because you just don't have the marketing skills or the team or whatever behind it or the creation behind it to be able to get people's eyes to get their attention, And so you really have to be a creator. The entrepreneur of a yoga teacher is that the journey is windy road, ebbs and flows, ups and downs, lots of backwards, to get somewhere. But having to be really consistent about the messaging that you're creating and the platforms that you're using to be able to get people's attention, whether it's a local community or online community or whatever it is that you're building, and just being really consistent with it and having the ability to capture attention with your authentic voice, however that comes off, whether it's a reel, a thread, a Twitter or X post, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, there's so many different platforms. I'm flipping the script on you for 1 second, Mackenzie. What platforms do you use? Because the user might want to know, and I'll share what I use. Like as a day in the life of the yoga entrepreneur, it's like, what platforms are you using to be able to grasp attention and bring people into to get to know about you? Like, what are you using?
Yeah, this is such a great topic, and I'm so happy to share because you're right. I think the first realization is exactly what you just said is like only 10% is the yoga teaching. The 90%, like you have to learn all these other skills to be able to do this. And so I think I figured out, I just made this episode on, okay, if I wanted to do a workshop, then I need to have, actually plan the thing, which is offer creation. You need to have the promotional material, which all of a sudden I feel like I need to be a model for the pictures. I need to be a graphic designer, to make the freaking flyer. Then I need to, be a copywriter to write the caption, to write the stuff on the website, all of these different like hats. And you as a solopreneur feel like you're like, okay, you take off that hat, put on this one. And as a yoga teacher, you're like, this is so not Zen. I am losing my mind in my yoga. And it really, really stretches you and tests your patience. But some softwares that have really, 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 really changed the game for me and took me years of trial and error of finding a couple and spending a lot of money on softwares too. Like this stuff can be expensive. One that I'm a big proponent of these days is called FG Funnels. It's a woman-owned company. It's similar to like Kajabi or ClickFunnels in the sense that it's got a lot of stuff all in one, all housed under one, but it is everything in the sense that you can have your like website building capabilities, whether it's just single websites or actual funnels. It's got your calendar or booking system, so it eliminates another subscription like Calendly. It's got texting integration. It's got your email marketing. It's also got automation. So it eliminates like Zapier and it makes sure that all the softwares are talking to each other. Membership capability. So I can build courses and inside the memberships provide additional materials like the actual video content or PDFs. And within that, you can also build communities for people to be like talking with one another. I can I can do all of the payments are processed within there and it integrates with Stripe. So all of the invoicing and all of that thing is handled within there. Yeah, it is everything and it's so affordable.
What you're talking about is huge. Yeah, massive.
Mhm. Yeah, and that took me a long time to figure out. FG Funnels, I actually link it in the show notes for everybody who's like, "Wait a second."
They should be paying you. And then every other yoga teacher out there, listen, affiliate linking is a really important part of networking, you know? And it's like what you just did is you're telling someone about a great product that has capability to change their business and you're going to get a little commission from it. Sure, that's great, fantastic. But also you're going to help somebody eliminate a lot of headaches for themselves. And then now they trust MAKENZIE. I trust MAKENZIE more now. I trust MAKENZIE more now. Like, see how you're so passionate about that, you know? Like that sounds like an amazing product. And I mentor a lot of teachers too. Like, shit, I need to know about this.
100%. No, it is amazing and it's so affordable and it's woman owned and they have incredible support. They've always got this chat. So anytime I have troubles figuring out the tech, there's somebody to help me like troubleshoot. And they run really cool programs where they will walk you through the process of building out something and launching it, which is a huge obstacle and roadblock for teachers. Like you do not know how much work it takes to create something and to launch it. They have the most like do it with you product of like we will hold your hand and walk you through every step. And for me, the first 2 rounds, I was like, they're not even holding my hand, they're just dragging me along. My face is in the dirt. I'm like, oh God, I hate this. This is so hard. But it actually, I got it up and out there in the world. So it got done, even though it felt so messy, to me. But I appreciate you saying that because I think as yoga teachers, we feel icky even about marketing our services, or we feel like we should just like not profit from sharing something that has like really helped me and authentically. And we have a lot of like money mindset work to do in shifting even exchanges like that. But yeah, FG Funnels is amazing and you should definitely check it out. I'm going to send you the affiliate link.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, like really cool product that you use, to manage your business and such, like really, really cool. And everybody needs some sort of CRM, like at some point, like every yoga teacher needs to have a way to be able to get a hold of their students that's not backed behind an algorithm. Like Meta is in control of who sees your stuff. If you're using Facebook, Threads, Instagram, like what they're in control of who they want to see your things. And if you're trying to sell them something, there's going to be a bigger barrier for the people that actually get to see it because Meta knows that you want to sell them something. And so they want you to pay them money in order to sell them something, which is okay. I mean, if you pay money, like the chances of you getting in front of the eyes that, will buy the product is worth it. So if I've invested money in some, ads to bring people to local things or people that follow you and like, yeah, it works. But, email, like, you have a CRM, like you're talking about FG Funnels, if you have a way to get into their email, like they're going to get the email, whether they read it or not, that's up to them. If it lands in the promotions folder or the main inbox, how good is your email, So, but yeah, it's super powerful. So the power of email marketing for teachers, I'm sure you'll probably create a course for that too. It's like, it's important, it's very, 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 every yoga teacher needs to have their own email list, like every yoga teacher. I don't care if you teach at all the studios, like I get this question all the time in my mentorship group. It's like, well, if I teach at yoga studios, like I can't like promote my, my workshop that I'm doing at a different studio at this studio. I'm like, I understand that. But every yoga studio wants you to promote their classes and every yoga studio wants you to do that on social media or Instagram. So you take your website or your your mailing list link, your landing page, and you put that as part of your bio, and so you get, in your Instagram or however people find you to get people to come onto your list. So you just direct everybody from your public classes onto your Instagram and tell them there's more information at the link in the bio, if you want to learn more. That's it. Simple, and then everybody's happy. So that's how I've always,
So important. And I don't remember which entrepreneur said this or made me aware of the idea that you don't really have a business until you have an email list. Because to what you're saying, all these other platforms could go away. And if you had, thousands of followers on Instagram or YouTube or all these other places, that's awesome. But if they were to shut down, you would lose contact with all your people and you can no longer connect with them. And another thing to kind of shift is that all of these other places, in-person classes in studio or on Instagram even, it's just really the storefront. It's just so people can become aware of you. But where you actually nurture your people and where then you also invite them to go deeper with your offers, all of that happens in your email marketing. That makes such a difference, or made such a difference for me, because then I stopped feeling so like bleh about posting on Instagram about, the workshop or the YTT or an online course. I wasn't having to, let's call it what it is, like sell as much on Instagram, because all of that was more reserved for my email list, which I didn't feel as bad about because they had already raised their hand. The email list is basically people who've raised their hand to say, I'm
Hey, I'm
already
interested.
interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't feel like you're spamming them. You don't feel
Yeah.
inconvenient.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat. Like the number of people that buy something from Instagram, like there are people, sure, people do buy things off Instagram. There's no doubt, but it's much easier to get them from Instagram onto your email list and then sell them something on your email list down the road. It could be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years later that they buy something from you, a high ticket item or whatever it might be, a training, a retreat, course, whatever. It's done through the email significantly more, like not even close. It's not even like a conversation of like the conversion rate from somebody buying it on Instagram versus buying it on email. It's like not even close. But all the seeds, you plant all the seeds. I plant a lot of seeds on Instagram, plant a lot of seeds in Facebook. I use Facebook a lot. A lot of people are like, oh, Facebook is like for old people. I'm all right, that's fine. Like I'm just gonna keep doing me then, because I guess I'm old, you know. So, but yeah, Facebook has been really powerful for me. Yeah.
Really? How so? How do you use Facebook?
So I teach locally on the beach here, and so like we'll create anytime I have a local event. Like I just built I have a yoga business page, like Yoga with Pedro as a business, and then I have my Instagram, right? So they're linked up and they talk to each other. And then I have my personal Facebook over here. And over the years of just building my local community of like people that go on the beach with me, I would do $10 a week. I'd like put behind my event promotion for like a donation based beach class. And over time, like people just follow the page, and it has like 1,500 followers. But all those 1,500 people are genuinely interested in doing yoga with me to some capacity locally. And then I have them. So anytime I have like a local event or whatever, like I'll put it on there. I'll make a Facebook event for it, which is like old school. Like I think about a Facebook event. They work. They work for me all the time, and people come to the things because they see it and they know, they're familiar with it. So that goes back to the consistency. Like they know, like, oh, I don't know if there's beach yoga, or I don't know if there's like a workshop happening or whatever. Like, what is Pedro doing? Like they know that there'll be an event there if it's doing, because I've been doing it for 5 years. So just being really consistent with it has helped me a lot. So yeah, I just use Facebook for that, like event posting. And then even Facebook Reels, which sounds crazy, like Facebook Reels, like they've happened for me and worked, for just like, again, local event promotion and such. And then again, taking people just from social to email and over time converting them into a customer, it's just like that's a process. Like you don't get, there's this thing that Jesse Itzler is one of my mentors. I don't know if you know who Jesse Itzler is, like serial entrepreneur. Okay, I'll link you after. Like great speaker, serial entrepreneur. And he said that one of the conversations he had with like Warren Buffett when they were doing business together was like, you don't get rich quick, like you get rich slowly over time, like you get rich really slow. And I believe that wholeheartedly. Like like I'm not, listen, I've been teaching yoga for 12 years. By no means am I rich, but I'm a lot richer than I was when I first started my yoga entrepreneur journey. When I took the leap after year 2 of working the full-time gig and then having like the part-time teaching, at some point you got to make the leap. And I was like, you know what, I'm just like moving to Florida and changing my life. So I'm just this is a great time to do it. And so I made that leap. But when you make the leap, it's like you have to acquire a bunch of skills, and you realize like all the seeds that you start planting at year 10, Like I wanted to do a yoga teacher training. I didn't know shit about yoga teacher training and launched it 9 years later. Like I didn't know anything about leading a retreat, but I knew I wanted to do it. So I held the intention to hold a retreat. It took me 6 years, to launch the first retreat. So these things take time, but you don't do it. It doesn't happen fast. It comes boringly consistent, holding the intention of why you want to do it and letting go of how you're going to get there, being open to it as you just keep going through the process of teaching at the studio over there, teaching at the beach, teaching online, teaching at that studio, taking that one random corporate gig, doing a private for that girl's husband, and then like it turns into something as you build the relationships over time. And then eventually you get to a place where it's like, wow, now I have like this large community of people that I've pulled together from all different areas of my life, all within the scope of yoga. They might want to learn something a little different from me. Some of them like want to learn from me as like a teacher and a leader. Some of them might want to learn from me as a mentor to their teaching, as like a trainee or something like that. But at the same time, you have this vast network of people that are interested in yoga to some capacity, and they want to learn from you. And the entry point of how they found you is different for a lot of people. Memes, some people that come from the memes, they have no clue. They like, I even teach on the beach. They have no idea, but they're like in this, they're just here, and they like the energy of what I have to offer. And then eventually they find out about the other things.
It's an important point because I think because of niching and branding, yoga teachers then feel like they can only do one thing. But what you're talking about is that you can be the multifaceted person and people can come in from different roads and it all is leading to you, and I think that can really help. It can help, but then it also makes you feel like you're like, oh gosh, but then because it's broader and because it's all of me, then I'm not as like simplified and clear. So for some people, it can be really alleviating, like, oh, I get to be all of me. And then others are like, well, that's hard now because it's all of me.
Yeah, and then I'm thin everywhere. And so like, yeah, there's two ways to look at that. Like Gary Vee will talk about all the time of like, just taste a bunch of different things and try a bunch of different stuff and do it all. You can be the, do you know who Gary Vee is? Do you follow Gary Vee? Gary Vaynerchuk? Okay, so another serial entrepreneur guy, right? And so he talks about like he was like a wine guy, and then he does like uh, all sorts of different entrepreneurial businesses. And so for me, it's like I like to do a lot of different businesses. I have like my business is yoga, but under the bucket of yoga, it's like local classes. We have our own yoga app. We lead international retreats, and then we have an academy where we mentor and train yoga teachers. It's all yoga, but there's 4 different things that we're actually like drawing from and serving people at, plus memes. If you want to add memes as a 5th wheel, add a meme as a 5th wheel, but there's all these different things that we that we have to create this like balancing and juggling act of like, I want to do all of those things, and I get to do all of those things. That's how I look at it. I get to do all of those things. Is it challenging to like manage all of that? Like sometimes it feels like a lot, but if you're really good at your organization and prioritization of like having a calendar that we set out for a year in advance or longer. We have a retreat booked for 2026. It's already deposited, paid for. It's like we plan really far in advance because we know like you have to be able to get as an entrepreneur, like getting organized and structured has been like the key to like success in the last few years. Super important because yoga teacher, you can be all over the place. You can, and I have been. I'll be the first to tell you for a long time until my wife was like, listen, we're not doing that anymore. You got to get it together over here. And she's not wrong, and
It's funny because when you think of like the energies of like the masculine and the feminine, it's usually the masculine that's like, okay, here's the structures, here's the scaffolding, that's what it looks like. And then the feminine is a little more like flowy, like, we'll just figure it out when we get there. But I completely agree that we just need the feminine feels safe. And I'm not speaking of like gender terms, I'm speaking of the energies. The feminine feels safe with the structure of the masculine. So if you feel really like stressed out and you are more of the like inclination to just go with the flow, you're stressed out because you don't have that like plan in place or the bigger vision. And while it might feel against the grain or against your personality to get that bigger vision and snapshot, it then makes you feel so much safer and like you can relax because you have, some things set up for you to relax.
yeah, that are working.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm the same. I'm the same as you. I've got yoga, and then, yoga teacher trainings is one, retreats is another, membership, like a class plan sort of subscription, and live stream classes, and then one-on-one sort of coaching and group mastermind containers. So all yoga, but just different ways that I show up.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. Like you're in the same. You just gotta add memes, and then you got five. Just add memes. Yeah, you got, Mackenzie just needs to add memes.
I think I'm very funny. I think I'm hilarious, and my husband, he is actually very funny, and so it feels really good when I get him, like when I can actually tell that he's laughed at what I said, but he's more of the, like, comedy writer, so then he'll kind of critique me and be like, "This joke would be funnier if you said it this way," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
I get it though. Like having that, having that wheel of like things that you're offering, and as yoga entrepreneurs, like there's a lot of yoga entrepreneurs I assume that listen to our listen to this show, is about finding something that you're really passionate about, right? As you're becoming a yoga entrepreneur, and like, figuring out that first course, or figuring out that first retreat, or figuring out that first workshop or whatever, like being really passionate about it and doing it really, really good. And when you do that and you execute it at a high level, you set a bar for yourself, and you also set a bar of expectation for your community, so that you know
Mhm.
that the next thing that you create, whether that is a retreat, a training, or whatever the next thing might be, the captive audience is already going to know that they have the level of the bar, where the bar is, and they'll
Mhm.
know if they came to the experience as a guest or as a customer, or they'll know if they didn't come from social media, from an email, from imagery, from clips that you created, like whatever. You'll be able to paint the picture and the story for them on like what people missed out on, or what they can expect to have, and the next time that you offer X, Y, or Z. And that's a really important part of this journey, is like doing something really good one time, and then being able to replicate that, and then the next things that you do is a becomes a mirror image of that experience. Then how you're showing up continues to be that way. It's like the way we do
Mhm.
one thing, the way we do everything, kind of thing. I believe in that mostly. Yeah, I don't like doing the dishes, but I'll do them okay, I guess. But but you know what I mean. It's like but in business, it's like if I'm gonna do something, like I'm gonna do it to the highest level that I can with what I have to work with. I'm gonna make sure that I can execute it and over deliver as much as I can, because I know that's what
Mhm.
I don't know if my community expects that now, but they know they're gonna get that. Like they just know they're gonna get it. They're gonna get all of me whenever I'm putting myself out there.
Yeah, yeah, there's two things that you're saying there that it's making me think of. If you're a yoga teacher out there listening and you're like, okay, I want to be this yogipreneur, I really want to take on this role more seriously, then your focus, at least for maybe the first year, is to just develop a reputation that whatever your offer is, know that your brand or your niche is your reputation. And you want your reputation to be reliable. That you are consistently delivering what you say you're going to deliver, and that, like, you're focusing on your service or your product, that it's actually creating some sort of transformation, that it's actually making a difference in somebody's life. And another episode I was just recording, like, I would just get so caught up in the aesthetic of something as opposed to the substance of something. Like, I thought that like, the website had to look a certain way, but I wasn't thinking about, like, my actual offer, like what I was actually doing for people. So make sure that your focus is right, is that you're creating things that build a reputation of, like, being an expert or delivering a really great product or service, and that you're being reliable with that, consistently showing up. But also, you need to know that you're not crazy and you're not wrong, that all of this other stuff that you need to do, the 90% that's not the yoga teaching, the 90% else, there are tried and true systems. There are proven strategies that will deliver certain results, that it's worth investing either in some, like, person like Pedro or some person like me, who we've, like, done the research and learned all of that stuff, because without those systems, without those strategies, it feels like throwing spaghetti on the wall, and you're just like shooting for shit, just trying, and that's just not as effective. It's going to be slower.
Yeah, there's two ways to pay for it. There's two ways to figure it out. You figure it out with your time, you figure it out with your money. That's it. Those are the only two ways that I know of to be able to get somewhere. And if you have the resources to invest in yourself, as far as like doing it faster, and also from someone that you trust, that has done it before you, always pay. I'm always willing to pay for the time, for my time. and for someone else's expertise on how I can do it to the highest level. If I believe in them and trust them that they're the mentor for me. It's like, am I going to take yoga entrepreneurship advice from somebody who's like a mathematician? Like, no, I'm not paying the math wizard. I'm going to pay the yoga wizard. I'm going to find the yoga wizard. I'm going to pay them. And that has been tried and true for me. It's like I've invested in myself, with coaching and think of all the money you spend in teacher training. You spend, if you did a 200-hour training, maybe you spent, depending on what you did, let's just say you spent $2,000 to $3,000. You went to, and then you went to 300-hour training. Now you've done 500 hours of training. You invested another $3,000 to $5,000. So now you're at somewhere between $5,000 and $8,000 in education, just for the sake of argument. You invested that much money into yourself, into training. That was just to be able to teach a really good yoga class and like lead a workshop, probably. Like that's like the basis of all of that, and have like a general sense of knowledge for like a certain level of maybe like a little expertise in a yoga subject. It has nothing to do with the 90%. Has nothing to do with the 90%. The 90% is something completely different. So if you want to be able to be successful as a yoga entrepreneur and get a return on the investment that you put into the training, if you're using that training to like make a business, then you need to invest in the 90% skills, because that's where the majority of your time and how you're actually going to make this, the majority of how you're going to make some money is through the 90% skills. And if you don't have those skills, you're just going to be the really good yoga teacher, but you're not going to ever build any traction as a yoga business, because that's two separate things. You're talking about two different things. And that's from lived experience that I know that, and from coaching people and like figuring this out myself. Like I didn't have a mentor like that I could pay for and do coaching stuff and like figure out, like I didn't know about it then, like it's 9 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago. Like that just wasn't happening that wasn't happening like it is now. Like that just wasn't happening. Those resources were not available. Like you went to your yoga studio owner, but they weren't going to tell you how to run a business that great, because they were just they wanted you to work for their business. Like what I mean? Like the yoga course entrepreneur, like there was a handful of those out there. There was like DVDs. Like that just was, YouTube, there was some YouTube videos. Like there wasn't like the Kajabi and the online courses for like how to do your best handstand. Like that didn't exist like 10 years ago. That wasn't a thing. 5 years ago, that was barely a thing. And so you're evolved, like as the technology grows and as the way that students receive the information, right? As the way that they are, are taking in the information that you're offering, you got to do it through like a manageable and digestible way. If you would have said 10 years ago or 20 years ago, definitely 20 years ago, most 10 too, that there's going to be 20-minute yoga classes available, and that's going to be what a lot of people do. Like the yoga gurus and the yoga studio owners would be like, that's not like, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's not, that's not that yoga thing. Like they have to come to the 60-minute experience. You know what I mean though? Like that just wasn't what you did, and I come from originally Bikram yoga. So there was only 26 poses and 2 breathing exercises. All the other stuff was Mickey Mouse yoga. That didn't even exist. We didn't even talk about that. Like we're not doing a chaturanga. No, we don't talk about that here. You just drink this Kool-Aid and you get up there and you do your half moon pose and your chair pose and your eagle pose in this order every time in this hot room with, no clothes on. And that's what you do over here. It's crazy. So, but that, but it's different now, so that you have to be able to communicate this information and have your students consume it in a way that they can that they want to learn from you, in something that's digestible and, that can be sustainable for yourself, and that's what it comes down to.
That was so good. I loved that. And I think that no, it was a great tangent. I think that people really value and understand the importance of a coach when it comes to some sort of like athletic pursuit. Like in a sport, having a coach, you get why it's so important. And you're like, of course, this Olympic athlete needs a coach. But then when you think about a coach in any other arena, some people don't understand why they would need it, or understand how much it will actually help you achieve the thing that you're trying to achieve. And that was something that, of course, it's frustrating as a yoga teacher. You're probably like, well, I don't really have much more means. I have limited financial resources to invest in a coach, which I understand can be, a huge hindrance and roadblock, but it makes all the difference having a mentor or having a coach. And it's well worth the investment if you're serious about doing something that you've never done before, because you can't coach yourself. You can't coach yourself through an experience that you've never done.
No, you can grind your way through it and figure it out. And sure, it may work out. Listen, I worked out somehow. But as I got towards the end of the working it out, like I had some mentors that I was able to like lean on from relationships that I had built. And some I paid for and some were just like you could have a conversation with. But until you get to that point along the journey, like that took years of like figuring shit out and trying things that never worked and like that's not how you do it, you know? And so like it's just accelerating is great, you know, having someone to help you accelerate and support you. Cause like sometimes there's just things like you just don't know how to, like, you can't know how to do something until you know how to do it. Like you just can't know how to do that until you know how to do that. And then you can do that, you know? And how do you want to figure out how to do that? You want to figure it out through trial and error? Or do you want to just maybe pay someone that's actually done it for sure and they can just tell you how to do it, you know? And then you just do it.
Exactly. Well, Pedro, I've had the best time chatting with you. You are so fun, full of life. I appreciate your energy and I love your memes. Don't stop on the memes. The fifth little wheel has to continue going.
Yeah, the memes can't stop, won't stop. And the memes are, I know that the memes are a way for other yoga teachers and studio owners. They use my memes as like, that's their, like, they use that as marketing material all the time for years. And I've never, you know, like I'm not asking for any money. I know this is happening. Like I make the meme for my own promotion, knowing that other people are going to use it for their own promotion. And that's just like a karma thing that goes out and it just comes back in a different way. It just goes out, it just comes back. And I'm glad that the yoga folks in the world use this material and get that their people relate to it. That's good. That's great. That's fantastic. Keep sharing it, please. Like steal, you know, like System of a Down came out with a CD. Like when I was a teenager, it said steal this CD, like steal this, and or burn. You know, when you would burn CDs, like they were like steal this music, and that's how I think about the memes. Like, please steal all the memes. Steal them all. Just take all of them, and just more people that lighten up about yoga, the better. Please steal it. You know, I don't even need any credit. I know I wrote it. Just steal it. You know.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, can you tell the listeners a little more of how they can plug into your other incredible offers or how they can get connected with you?
You're so kind. Yeah. So if you want to look at the memes, just go to Yogi Memes on Instagram, YOGIMEMES, Yogi Memes, all one word. And then if you want to tap in with me, you can just drop into nextlevelyogacommunity.com. You can find everything from there. Nextlevelyogacommunity.com.
Yeah, do us both a favor, listeners. Put this up on your story, share it with a couple of your yoga teaching friends. Tag us. I'm at Master Your Yoga Teaching. Pedro, what's your Instagram handle?
At Yoga with Pedro.
Yeah, let us know that you listened and what you found most valuable. If you are that person, you're a yoga teacher who wants to really adopt more of a yogipreneur identity and you want the coaching or the support, Pedro and myself are incredible resources for you. We want to help you. Please let us help you skip some of the trial and error periods that we had if you are ready. We're here for you. But thank you so much, Pedro, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me and sharing me with your community. I appreciate it so much.
All right, everybody, until next Wednesday, namaste blessed. Thanks for listening. If this is your first time, peruse our feed to see if there's something else that will serve you. We're so grateful that you're here and invite you to join our inner circle by subscribing to our newsletter. If this episode resonated with you, help us spread the word by sending it to a friend who needs to hear this message. Likes, follows, sends, shares, and reviews help us to continue delivering high-quality content to you for free each and every week. Don't forget to tag at Master Your Yoga Teaching so we can reshare. I am a certified yogi. However, this podcast is intended for information and entertainment only. If you are interested in mentorship or coaching with me, check out the website linked in the show notes to get more information. This content and other content produced by CLW Studios and affiliated partners is not therapy, and nothing in this content indicates a therapeutic relationship. Any opinions of guests on the podcast are their own and do not represent the opinions of MAKENZIE or CLW Studios. Learn more about MAKENZIE, her guests, and CLW Studios by following the links in the show notes. Keep shining, and we will see you next Wednesday for another dose of Master Your Yoga Teaching. Namaste blessed. I love helping yoga teachers stand out through skillful storytelling and theme weaving. That's why I'm so excited to tell you about Inspired Flow Monthly. Inspired Flow Monthly is the subscription that puts ready to go flows in your back pocket. So all you have to do is show up prepared and excited to teach yoga. Here's what you get each month: one cohesive class plan PDF, complete with dynamic sequences, curated playlists, one with lyrics and one without, and an inspiring theme for your next vinyasa yoga class. That's really what makes the subscription stand out. One ridiculously short and sweet video tutorial of the sequences, one subscriber email that gives you all the deets. Inspired Flow Monthly is for the yoga teachers that are experienced but out of creative juice and need to gas up. Busy yet passionate about delivering memorable vinyasa yoga classes. New with a lack of confidence and an abundance of overwhelm. Needs help with understanding how to weave yoga philosophy without feeling super awkward, preachy, or random. Dislikes creating playlists and just wishes someone would do it for them. All about working smarter and not harder. Trust me, I get it. Teaching beyond the poses to the heart of yoga can be challenging. It's time-consuming to find the right inspirational material. That's what makes Inspired Flow Monthly so special. I've done all of the heavy lifting for you. I tell you exactly what to say and when to say it, so you show up prepared, polished, and relaxed. Inspired Flow Monthly is $27 a month, or get 2 months free when you subscribe for the year. Head to inspiredflowmonthly.com to sign up or click the link in the show notes. Still not convinced? Try before you buy and snag one free sample delivered within seconds of signing up. Head to inspiredflowmonthly.com now or click the link in the show notes. See you inside.